There are 6 key hires that you need to bring into your company as you're building from being a solopreneur. And over this little time I've got with you right now, I'm going to break down each one of those hires, how to hire them, why to hire them, and why they're super important. You've got to have these hires in. So let me start with the first one. Every business owner generally will sit on one side of one of the two sides of these equations. So either number one, you'll already be that kind of natural seller in your business and you'll be the one that's making most of the sales, right? Or the other side is you're not really making most of the sales. You're more of the sort of person delivering on what you do. So you're the talent, right? So most solopreneurs sit on one side of the equation. So if you are a talent and you're very good at what you do, then your first hire really needs to be the seller. It needs to be somebody that can come and actually sell your product and allow you to keep delivering at what you do. If you're the other way around, if you're really good at selling, then you want to be able to hire somebody else that can deliver and do the things that you need. So if it's a product business or if it's a service-based business, but if you want to be the seller and you keep selling the product or the service and somebody else goes out there and either sends a product out or takes care of the back end or they deliver on the service, you want them to focus on that. So whatever is your opposite, that's your first hire. Now, most people, I know this from experience because I did it, they hire themselves first. Right? Because it's comfortable. They're like, okay, I'm going to hire, I like to sell and I've got a cool product. I'm going to go hire another salesperson. You've got to hire the opposite to what you are. So the first hire should be, if you're a seller, the first hire should be the operations person, okay? If you're an operations person, the first hire should be really the person to go out there and sell your product or your service. That's the first hire. The second hire should be what you're doing now. So if you're a seller, the second hire should be a seller. If you're more of an operations person, the second hire should be the operations person. So if you're a salesperson, the first hire is the operations, then the second hire is in sales, just like you. If you're an operations person, the first hire is a salesperson and the second hire is an operations person just like you. So the first two hires are a salesperson and an operations person, right? Operations manager, an operations person that can run the back end, like the SOPs, the systems, the processes, all that kind of stuff. So there's two hires. The order depends on where you're at, right? Now, let me give you the third one. The third one is, I think everyone needs to hire a PA or an EA, right? So a personal assistant, executive assistant. Now, as you get bigger, those titles become more important in the role, but effectively hiring somebody that can do all of the non-dollar productive things for you and get you even more organized, right? So for me, I've had personal assistants and executive assistants for years and years and years and years, and they totally changed my world. When I've got someone that can come in and actually have my calendar with everything I need to be operationally ahead of me, can be making sure that everything's in my calendar, my diary, my appointments, my meetings, everything confirming it's all happening. They can go out there and arrange things for me in my personal life and my business life. So I can focus on being dollar productive. I can focus on doing the things that are actually going to add revenue to the business. Now I want to focus on doing deals and negotiating and bringing my strategy to our companies. So having a PA or an EA to help you be effective, productive, focusing on dollar productive things so we can handball stuff to and go, please, can you sort that out? Oh, by the way, I've got something coming up for the kids. We need to make sure we order that. Can you sort that out? Oh, by the way, I've got, I need to have a meeting with blah, blah. Can you get that meeting in the diary, please, in the next couple of weeks? To hand that to somebody and then focus on what you need to do. Critical, right? So number one and number two is a seller and operations person, depending on who you are, depending on who you hire. The third hire is definitely someone to come and start getting you more organized, right? You can be organized. Now, by the way, these are hires. I'm talking about more hires internally. Now, externally from this, of course, you want to think about marketing and whatnot. But what I would say, I'm a really big believer, if you're a small business, you should really be hiring an external contractor that can do more of the marketing for you, right? So hiring somebody that can do the marketing, lead generation, all that kind of stuff for you, that's an external company. It's what I'm a big believer in anyway. So what I'm talking about right now is just the internal hires. So number one, number two are operations and sales, okay? Number three would be an EA or a PA. Number four CEO or a GM, someone to run the business. Now, if you want to know more about that, I did a video recently on GM versus CEO. It's on my Instagram channel, so go check that out. But you need to hire somebody to be able to run the business. So that's generally going to be a GM. If you already got somebody in place already in your business to help run that business, then that hire is going to be more of a CEO who oversees the business and helps the business to be able to grow. But go check out that video on GM versus CEO because that'll give you a deeper explanation. So the next hire is the GM or the CEO. That's the next hire, right? That person to run and oversee the business. Now, the next hire, the next two hires, the last two hires. So we've got operations and we've got sales. We've got a PAEA, we've got a GM or a CEO. They're the first four. The next two hires are connected. So this is hiring somebody that's going to mentor you. Now, I wish I was told this. Actually, no, I was told this earlier. I just didn't listen. I wish I listened earlier to this information. And that is that you need to get mentors. What do mentors do? Mentors are people that can. What's the difference between a mentor and a coach? That's probably another thing to tell you. A mentor is somebody who's going to give you strategic direction on specifically what you should do based on their knowledge, their experience, and what they've done. Not someone that's going, maybe if I apply, this idea, or they feel like, okay, hear what you're saying, do this, this, and this, and this, and this, go. That's a mentor, right? They pull on this experience that they have in their own life, in their own businesses, their own experience that they've had with other people, and they say, here's what you need to do. That's the fifth hire. The sixth hire is a person who helps the mentor, and that's the coach. So the coach is kind of like the momentum person. Yeah. Whereas the mentor is more of the direction. The coach is more of that kind of momentum of like, okay, for sales, here's a couple of things you can do. And for marketing, here's a couple of things you can do. And, for raising capital, here's a couple of things you can do. And are we on track with your personal life? And are you doing this? And are you doing that? So that coach is good to kind of keep everything going. Whereas a mentor is good for saying, I hear what you've said and you need to do this. Black and white. Here's what you need to do. And I find that if you have the combination of the mentor and coach, you're going to find a better outcome for you. I know that for us in our organizations where we teach and help people, in almost all of the programs that we do, we have that combination because one's giving clear, absolute direction, not sure, absolute direction, no gray, black and white. The coach is kind of helping you implement that and get that done and keep you on track and everything else you're doing. So they're the last two hires you need to have. You need to have your mentor, you need to have your coaches in your business as well. So salesperson, operations person, EAPA, CEO or GM, a mentor and coach. They're the six main hires that I think can completely change around an organization that you're going to be working with those people regularly. Now, external to that, of course, there's other stuff, marketing and legal and all that kind of stuff that we could talk about as contractors and external advisors to work on funnels and stuff like that, of course. But this is the people that I recommend you hire in to work with those either in your business full time or for the last two would be mentoring and coaching to work with them very regularly, almost like they're a part of your team as well. So that's your six hires. Number one, sales or ops. Number two, the opposite of whatever you just hired. Number three would be the PAEA to really help organize your life and start to propel you operationally forward as well to get your diary management going and to get you more effective in the time you've got, because we've all got the same amount of time. This is how we use it. Fourth is that GM to run the business or CEO. Check out the other video on my Instagram on that as well. And fifth would be the mentor. Here's what you do. And the sixth would be the coach. Let's get at it. Let me help you with this and this. Let's kind of bring everything along and let's tweak all the different things as we're going and let's talk really, really regularly. They are the six hires that any business needs to totally change it around and to have it go from here to a whole new level. And I don't care whether you're a business already doing 8 figures, that'll take you to 9, they'll take you to 10, 11. If you're at 0, that'll take you your first, 6, 7 figures easily. These hires are critical for every single business.